So with ACA open enrollment coming up, I figured I'd put together a video that details how to create a $250,000 income selling ACA health insurance policies. I'm going to give you the blueprint. I've got all my notes here ready to roll and guide you through the process of, from a numbers perspective, what you need to do in order to successfully create $250,000 in health insurance residuals within a couple years' time of starting in the health insurance business. My name is David DuFord. I own DuFord Insurance Group. We train agents nationally to sell final expense in person over the phone, and we implement ACA health insurance as kind of an intermediate long-term strategy to build residual income. If you'd like more information about how our agency works, please check out davidduford.com/FAQ. So first of all, let's explain and step back how the money briefly works with ACA. ACA is a residual-based product. You have two different types of products in insurance. First is ACA, or first is a residual, and then the second one is a first-year driven product. So the first-year driven products typically pay a higher lump sum up front, but very little in residual, like life insurance or final expense. And then you've got residual-based products that pay little up front, but pay a heck of a lot over the course of many years. Medicare and ACA, in my opinion, fit that mold. So understand that the appeal to ACA sales is not necessarily on the front end. As a side note, this is why we don't recruit ACA-only agents to the DuFord Insurance Group, because there's a cash flow issue, and most agents need money last month when they get started, so they're in a position where doing a residual-based product where you're going to break even after a couple months and not cash flow up front is a problem. So we recommend doing it long-term. But however, anyway, the way commission works is very simple. ACA pays as earned commission, so it pays monthly. You don't get an advance on commission where you get a lump sum of the first year commission up front. And it pays that for life as long as you sustain the policy and keep it on the books. What you get paid largely depends on the agency you're with as well as the state you're in. There are some states, I believe Florida and Texas, which are very good, $20, $25 plus per member per policy up to 5, right? So if you got, let's say it's $20 a month in Texas, you got a family of 5, it's $100 a month that you're paid on. If it's a family of 10, it caps at 5. Most of these plans cap at 5 members. So keep in mind there is a ceiling to the comp if you found some extremely large family. So, and it's lifetime pay, but it's also as earned, like I said. So bottom line, from those numbers, we can kind of derive, and I'm going to use $20 a month because some pay less, like California is really poor as far as the commission payouts are, and then some are really good. So we're going to kind of just use 20 bucks. You can do some research, find a grid of payouts, and see where it is and which states to work in. That's typically the motivation. So at $20 a head, and the average family size is 2.5, right? So, you know, a husband, wife, a spouse, and a kid, right? So 2.5 times 20 is 50 bucks. So 50 bucks times 12 is $600. That is what the expected first year commission is. Again, remember, it's 50 bucks a month, not 600 up front. So if we do the math on that, if your average case size is 600 a month, or I should say 600 a month, 50 bucks a month, and we divide that by the $250,000, and what we're going to get is we need to write somewhere between 320 and 480 policies in order to get the amount that we need. And I gave a range here of 800 to 1,200 policies off of $250,000. Again, it's just going to depend. But we need to write 320 to 480 policies at 2.5 average heads per policy in order to hit an income annually of $250,000. Hopefully that makes sense. Sorry, I kind of jacked it up a little bit there with my explanation. But the point is we want a number in mind of like how many policies do I need to have on average. So I would say safely it's going to be as low as 320, as high as 480 before you hit $250,000 in revenue commission from ACA sales. What's not included though in this, so there are a few things that may help increase the commission faster, not from a residual necessarily, but from a first year. Either way, a higher income. First of all is bonus money. A lot of these carriers pay bonuses. Some have pulled back a little bit, but most of them are paying a nice bonus during open enrollment, where if you hit certain numbers, you get paid a lump sum 3 or 4 months after the fact for an additional amount. And then also you have with selling people under 65 significant dental, vision, and hearing opportunities. Those are great cross sells that you should sell to these plans, but also life insurance as well. Maybe not to the same extent as dental, vision, and hearing, but these are other ways to magnify at least the front end commission on top of building the residual, because that's the biggest issue, is that it's how much time is it going to take, and that's what we're going to get into. So what we're going to talk about now are the ratios in order to go from, okay, I'm making $20 per person per policy, and I want to make $250,000 a year. What's the road to get to $250,000 a year? So let's give you an example. This is just one example of many. I'm using Luis Moreno's number. He's my partner in the ACA business. He trains our ACA agents and does ACA himself. So his average lead cost is approximately $7 a piece. Okay, so he does self-generated Facebook leads. He uses a course called Social Waves Media. I'll link it in the chat if it's not there below. Please comment, let me know. And Shauna is the person who designed it and went in and did a really good job of improving his ads. I think he was saying is approximately $7 an ad, and that it took 20 leads to convert one of those into a sale. So from there, we now have our acquisition cost. So 20 leads to do one sale times $7, right? So 7 times 20 is it's $140 acquisition cost based on what Luis has shared with me in order to acquire a client. And if his average client is $50 a month, then he's got to wait 3 months till he breaks even. Or his $140 investment returns over the next year a $600 revenue return. So yeah, that's how that works. And from there, you can just do the math. Well, then how many of those do I need to write a month? What it looks like, it just really depends on what your activity is going to be. In order to hit the average between 320 and 480 is 400, you'd have to write 20 to 30 policies or 30 to 40 policies every month. Now, there's going to be some people who charge back, who cancel their plans. There's always that stuff that we're incorporating this to an extent. But I think it's realistic to hit this number, to really just grind it out there somewhere inside of, say, 1 to 3 years, depending on your work ethic, depending on how well you adhere to the system and get the ball rolling with this particular program. So that's the process to do $250,000 in residual income with ACA. It's a very great opportunity. It's probably somewhere where I would be if I was back and having to be an agent. I would probably be in the ACA space personally, assuming that my cash flow issues were taken care of. I think final expense is a better product to handle for that. But I love the ACA business model because it's a bit of the wild, wild west. It's not nearly as heavily regulated as Medicare is with all the scopes of appointments. It's an easier product to learn. It's a mass market product, which the government has subsidized tremendously for the client. And a lot of people just don't have health insurance agents. And if you just work hard and run a system and make the calls and help people, you're going to find all sorts of success if you can just adhere to the system. So I'm a big believer of ACA, especially once you have a nice bankroll and your cash flow is under control. It's a great opportunity to build residual income because on some level, the long term of this business, it's great to have passive income. It's something I've spoke about for years. To be able to make money and not necessarily have to work a grind out 80-hour week is a nice thing. And it's something that is achievable with time and effort. And I think a consistency and a consistent execution to a system that gets you to that point. So any comments or questions on this, please leave them below. If you'd like to learn more about joining DeFord Insurance Group, please head over to daviddeford.com/FAQ. Again, our focus primarily with new agents is final expense, over the phone or in person with mentorship. We have a make money guarantee. And our main goal is to implement ACA once they're successful selling final expense, they're making good cash flow, and then they can afford to pick up an as-earned commission product that pays well long run, but is a little tougher in the short run. So hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.